Welcome to KindaSound Radio, and it's with me, your host Giles Bryant, and
Juliette Bryant.
oh, how about that double dose of Bryant's, baby. Well, we are really excited to be broadcasting to you today about an amazing subject. It's called Earth Wisdom. Now, Juliette, you've got an amazing story of how this recent part of, the Earth's got wisdom since the beginning. You can tune into it all the time. But your evolution of looking at it and how you've started to step into this role, really. Just tell the kind of sounders about it. It's a great story.
So it was a year ago, actually, to the week, and I was doing a free webinar on plant wisdom, on our connection to the plants and how we can deepen that. And I was driving to pick up my little one from school, and as I was driving I was thinking about plant wisdom, and I was kind of percolating all the information about the plants and the trees to move through my body. And as I was doing that, I really felt this thing come through that said it's not just plant wisdom, it's earth wisdom. And at that moment an owl flew past the car, and it didn't just fly across, it flew, and it flew with me for a bit. And I really felt like that was a message from the owl to say, you're on the right track. It is earth wisdom that you're teaching. This is what you're moving into. Giles is being an owl over on the side. And then what happened from that moment is I started to move that feeling of earth wisdom through my body. And as I was driving, I felt like, the words that came to me is, it's not just about earth wisdom. You're an earth wisdom keeper, and your role is to share the wisdom of the earth with others. And at that moment a deer ran in front of the car, and I didn't hit it. And I felt like that was a real blessing of the deer confirming that. And then I said, well, if I really am an earth wisdom keeper, and I do believe we all are earth wisdom keepers, I just want to say that, but I feel like that's what I have stepped into now, this role of channeling the plants, the trees, the crystals, the animals, to move that wisdom through me to share that with others. And it's not my wisdom, it's the wisdom that, as Giles said, has been around for all this time. And we need people, in the ancient traditions there were always people there who communicated this, who held that connection with the earth, the shamans, the mystics, the medicine women. And we've lost that in our traditional sense, but we're very much, I think it's coming out again. We're reconnecting with that ancient wisdom. And so I said then, well, if this is my role, then I'm going to see a hare run across in front of me next. And literally within about 30 seconds, if that, a massive hare ran in front of the car, and I just went, and I can feel it now, that just the profundity of that experience of the animals communicating so deeply with me.
It's a beautiful thing, Juliette. Now, KindaSounders out there, if you're listening to this on the podcast, or even if you're watching this on YouTube, I want you to think about that for a minute. Have you ever had any incredible experiences with animals? Has an animal ever crossed your path and you thought, is there a meaning to this? Is there a message to this? Because within all indigenous cultures, including of this land, all ancient cultures, the animals were all venerated. They were all honoured as sacred. They were all seen as sacred. And in our own land here, we have this tradition from the Druids. And when we say the word Druid, we just mean a pre-Christian person who was following these earth-based religious practices. So it's going back thousands of years. And they would do this. But we can do it today. Yeah. We can do it today. And, I hope wherever you live and wherever you're listening to this, you can go into a place of nature. It might be a garden or a park or a woodland. And I hope you can connect to animals. You can hear the birds, or you might see a squirrel or a deer, or I don't know, we've got worldwide listeners,
fox,
a giraffe, a lion, right? Do you remember when we went to New Jersey and we stayed in New Jersey and you did a workshop there and there were bears there? Yeah. We were out quite in the wilds and this guy had like been taking photos of these bears and it was like that bear energy, you know. But we talk about bears and lions, but they were here.
They were here, yeah.
They were here, you know. You don't even have to go back that far,
no.
You know.
And I think what you said is so important about that listening to the animals that are around us, because, you know, so often I've seen or I've heard an animal, you know, I've heard a bird of prey, or I've seen it circling and thought, oh, what does that mean? You know, in the past, that's really been something that I've thought, oh, I wish I could understand what they were saying to me. And so many traditions, as you said, would use them as messages from the spirits, from the ancestors, from the earth. And I think that's something, well, that is something I know we need to start listening to again and opening up our senses to hear and to see in that way.
So do you, KindaSounders, do you have an animal? If I said to you right now, what's an animal that calls to you a sacred animal, then, you know, something that maybe comes into your mind.
Do you have one, Giles?
Well, when I was younger, when I was at high school, my friends, and my mates from that time still call me Otter. They call me Otter. And I think about an otter as a creature. Playful, tenacious, strong, very adaptable, comfortable in the water and the land, cute, dare I say. Oh, those of you watching on YouTube may not agree, but there we go.
You're very handsome.
There we go. That's beauty is in the eye and all of that. But what about you, Juliette? If we said right now, what's an animal calling you right now?
Right now, it has to be the owl. Previous to that, it was very much the dragonfly. I've always loved dragonflies, but right now, we have an owl in our. Well,
it's not just one.
A few of them in our garden or right by our garden.
By us.
And last night especially, wow, they were making so much noise and it was really calling to me. When I see them, from when really we were pregnant with Eliar.
I wasn't pregnant.
No, but it was our son we were pregnant with, hence the we.
Oh, sorry. Right.
I kept having owls. There was one experience, do you remember, where this owl flew beside the car for so long and it was looking in. And I really felt it communicating, and I felt like it was...
I mean, it seemed... I don't know how long it was. 30 seconds, a minute. It was just flying by the side of the car. It just was... you know, it was... I think it was a barn owl, wasn't it?
It was incredible.
Oh.
And I really felt like it was communicating. It was there for Eliar. It was his animal, bird. You know, his totem, spirit animal. And... since then, I've had such a deep connection with owls, and right now it's massive.
Yeah, it is, and it's one of the reasons that we need to look after the earth. I think you know, for me, the blackbird is another strong one, and just to hear the blackbird sing, blackbird singing in the dead of night. You know, it's just deep, isn't it? It's very profound, but that's why we need trees.
Yeah.
And that's why we need plants. And it's why we need a healthy soil, so it can all work together, and then we can really connect to this earth wisdom. I mean, even in our garden, when Juliette says we've got owls in the garden, please, KindaSounders, don't think we're living in the country estate. We're not quite there yet, but you know, in our garden and around, you know, the meadows and everything here, the fields and everything. So they obviously like it. They like that environment, and because there's food for them, and there's places in the trees that they can live and things, and we've got to look after the earth so we can. And I think when you connect to it, I think when you interact with it, it's such a way that we can connect to the earth wisdom. So we're drinking some tea right now, and it's got some of the.
So the tea...
Just tell us about the tea, Juliette. Yeah, tell us about the tea. It's just a simple way.
So we've got a few different things in here. We've got some rose hips from the garden. We've got chamomile, again from the garden. We've got sage. We've got some rosemary. And we've got sea buckthorn. So we've got quite a lot of different things, all from the garden. And it's going a lovely, beautiful kind of pinky, orangey colour to support our immune system, to support our health and our well-being. And it's a lovely thing to go and collect herbs and berries and make whether it's food, whether it's medicine, tea, to make these things, tinctures. And I'm just coming to the end of my 1-year plant wisdom mentorship program, and that has been incredible. Each month we've dived into a different plant, just one plant, and fully embraced it and learnt how to make tinctures and so many different remedies to really empower our health. And for me, this is such an important thing. When I'm talking about earth wisdom, the reason it's so important is because the most important thing to remember is that we are part of this earth. We're not separate. And we've been programmed in society to believe that we are walking on this earth, that we're separate from it. And I think when you start to pay attention to the signs and you look at the plants and the trees and the animals and you start to listen, you start to develop this interaction where you realize there is no separation between it all. So when we look after the earth and the environment of the earth, we're looking after ourselves. When we look after the soil, we're looking after our gut. All of these things are intrinsically linked. I feel like when we look after the mycelium, the mushroom network, we're looking after the fascia of our body. So all of these parts, there's this deep interconnection. And I feel like my job is to help guide people into that remembrance.
It's not a bad job, KindaSound. I don't know what you do for a living, but it's not a bad job, is it? Quite frankly, but you've got to create your reality. And I think when we work with the earth, when we work with spirit, when we work with gratitude, then we really can. Just as a little aside here, because we're having a bit of a catch up, Juliette, as well, on KindaSound here. So you're talking about earth connection. You're about to leave England, and go to a place where, one of the places on earth you felt most at home, you felt most connected to the earth, and that is in India, and specifically in South Goa, a place we know very well. We used to live there. Know a lot of people there. And tell us about, you connect to the earth here, you love it here, you love it. We're in Suffolk, in sunny Suffolk. I mean, it's freezing outside,
and sunny, but
it's just blue sky, but we're very lucky where we live. It's a beautiful part of the world. But just talk to the KindaSounders, because obviously we got a worldwide listenership, so there's people listening from all over the world and they have different environments. But for you, I know you're guiding six women on a retreat for a week. How does that help you connect to the earth wisdom being there?
Well, one of the places that we're going, well, first of all, for me, the water is such an important thing, and the sea. And I do love getting in the sea in this country as much as I can. Where we're going to be staying is right on the beach, and we're going to be going to a protected turtle beach as well. And getting in the ocean has such a healing effect on my body. It just resets me every time, wherever I am in the world. Getting into that water, the salt water, re-energizes, resets my nervous system. It's one of the most therapeutic things for myself, for everyone. But we all have our different things that really resonate, and that for me does it. The sunshine, has a huge impact on me as well. Having lived in Florida when I was growing up, I got used to the heat and the sun. And so I do struggle more in the winter in this country, in the UK, with the cold and the dark. So getting in the sun is a really important thing. That's why we spent so long. Part of the reason out in India before living out there was because of the warmth. It's such a healing tool. The sun is incredible for us. But one of the super exciting things that I'm really looking forward to is probably one of my favourite places in the entire world is a place called Tanchika Spice Farm.
Yeah.
And it's an organic permaculture spice farm. And it's been organic really all the way back. And they've just done it because that's the way they've always done it there. And the person who runs it, Chinmay, is... what a beautiful soul. Him and his wife, wow. They're just amazing people. They're the whole family.
Chinmay's wife.
And...
Gaudi.
Yeah.
Lovely people. Honestly, if you're ever in that part of the world, Tanchika Spice Farm, it's in South Goa. It's heaven.
It is.
It's heaven on earth. And as Juliette said, they're not making a thing about it being organic. it's always been organic for hundreds and hundreds of years, of generations of their family.
It's phenomenal. So part of what we're going to be doing is staying there. They've built these beautiful huts in the jungle. They've got a spring-fed swimming pool there. All the plants are spring-fed. You know, that's incredible. I mean, wow. That's how we should all be living if we could. But
if we could.
It's going to be beautiful. We're going on a night trail as well to see the night animals and the snakes in the jungle. A little bit scared, but excited by that as well. Trek to the waterfall. So we're going to be really immersed in the elements there and learning Ayurvedic cooking. And also I'm going to be bringing back lots of amazing spices to hold the memory of it and that energy, and knowing that actually everything there has been grown with so much love. And for me, some of you know me and know my work. That's something that I really hold dear to me, is the love, the creation, that intention is so important.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? And I think you can do it if you're, and obviously we've got some people who live in the middle of the land somewhere. You might not be near the sea, but you've probably got a river, or you've got a spring, or you've got a lake, or, you've got a body of water. And when we talk about earth wisdom, we are talking about the elements, aren't we? We're talking about that immersion in the elements. So just before we did this, we started recording today, I went outside and I got some wood for the fire. So that's kind of that fire energy. And we light the fire. We have a fire, or we light a candle like every day. We just to bring that in, and we like the sauna, and so it's that fire energy. But that earth energy for me, I just walk barefoot. And when you were saying about people's disconnection, and we don't feel we're part of the earth. Well, if you're wearing the rubber shoes, you're not getting the connection.
No.
You're not feeling that electromagnetic union that happens. You're not feeling those electrons from the earth infusing you. And it's an easy way to do it, isn't it? It's just you've got grass or sand, or just something natural. No, concrete's probably not going to do it so well, but if you can just when you can, just ground yourself. And then water, that element of water you were saying about, when you just whoosh, you go in the ocean, or you go in the sea, or even if you have a shower or bath, or just, how grateful are we, KindaSounders? How grateful are we've got clean water, because there's 2 billion people who don't have access to clean water. Come on.
I'm even more grateful that we've got a water filter, and we've got a filter on our bath as well, so that we're lucky to have clean water, but that has got lots of stuff in it. And so I really love that we've got filters on the bath. It's made a big difference putting the filter on the bath too. When I have a bath and lay in it, I love to put salt in my bath, mimicking like the ocean, mimicking that effect of the salt. Salt is so important for us, so important for our bodies, and a lot of us are deficient in that connection to the salt. I think that's why we crave the ocean, to get that salt coming back in as well. Natural salts, not salts that have been messed with chemically.
I think we crave the ocean as well, because we've probably lived from an ancestral level. We've probably lived really close to the ocean for a long time, because it would have been a good place. And if we just talk about that for a minute, talk about history for a minute, around 12,000 years ago, 11,500 years ago, something like that, the sea levels rose by 400 foot. Now imagine all those places that people would have been living, right? Then it rises, the water rises. You used to be able to walk to Europe. From here, you could have just walked, So much civilization must have been lost, and so many things must have changed. But people now, it's so desirable, isn't it, to live by some of the most expensive properties are, again, one of our favourite places, the Big Sur in California. When you drive in that coast road from Los Angeles to San Francisco.
And that was phenomenal, because we went down on this beach, and it was absolutely amazing. I spent ages looking, because in the stones, in all the pebbles on the beach, they were all crystals.
Just crystals.
And it was mind-blowing that, there was a venturine there, there was jasper, we were picking up all these crystals. I was blown away by that. But another reason I think we like the sea so much in general is because the sea releases negative ions which help us to feel calm and relaxed. So computers, technology release positive ions which make you feel angry and stressed, whereas a forest, a waterfall, the beach, all of these areas, these natural areas, release these negative ions which have this calming, cleansing, purifying effect and this relaxing effect on our nervous system. And that's what's so important. So many of us spend so much of our time in this state of nervous system activation, where we're in a fight or flight state, we're stressed out and we don't even know why, because our environment is putting a strain on us without us even having to be stressed out.
Yeah, we are, and there's some things we can do about it. So you might see smoke emanating kind of sound. As those of you that are watching this, those of you that are listening, I don't think you're seeing any smoke emanating.
You probably can't smell it.
But it's one of the things we love to do. It's a medicine man, Stephen Ash. Do check out his shows on KindaSound. He calls it honouring. Traditionally, you call it smudging, where we've got a charcoal disc here, and we're putting some frankincense on it. It's one of our favourites. And that's a way to cleanse the energy field, isn't it, Juliette? Just to help balance things. I'd certainly say turn your Wi-Fi off at night. Only use a mobile phone when it's a distance away from you. Try and hold it as little as possible. Don't put those suckers to your ears,
But with the frankincense, you said energetically it's clearing us, but also physically it's clearing bacteria, viruses and pathogens from the air. So it's actually clearing our air so that what we're breathing is healthier. So, it's working on these extra layers, which is so important. Everything, we are more than our physical body. We are physical, mental, emotional and spiritual beings. And so things work on all these different layers. And it's like the plants, the trees, the medicine of the earth works physically on us, but also it works on this deeper energetic level as well. So this is a really important thing, and this is what I get into with my work now. I started off my work being very much just the physical nutrition, and it's very much evolved to the whole picture, which is, I feel, so important.
It is, Juliette. Well, let's talk about that a little bit now then. Let's talk about this, because this is, it's a great thing. It really is a great thing, because you've got one more month of your plant mentorship, 2024, and the last plant is pine.
Yeah.
And it's about celebration, like the pine pollen and the pine trees or the Christmas trees, whatever, the spruce, that. That's so ancient, right? That goes back. That's not. Someone said to me, "Oh, it was invented by Prince Albert." The Christmas tree, because he brought a Christmas tree in or something, and no, it's not. Invented by, he's so old. The practice of decorating trees, it's like around Yule time, the winter solstice. It's really ancient. So I know you've had incredible feedback from people that you've guided on this. You had 12 people, right? 12 people taking them through these plants, exploring the physical benefits of the plants, emotional benefits, mental benefits, spiritual benefits, making balms and
tinctures and flower essences,
all these things with people, just opening people's eyes up and going, wow, plants are amazing. And you love plants, and we're plant based and all that, and we grow loads of plants in our environment, and we planted medicinal herb gardens and forest gardens and orchards and all sorts. We're really into plants. That's great. But when you had that thing come to you, the owl and the deer, and then you said, if this is the case, show me the hair, and then there's the hair. That is, in my opinion, that's the message from spirit.
Yeah.
That's a direct spirit communication. You might just say that's a coincidence, and well, there you go. If you want to believe in coincidence,
quite a coincidence.
It's quite good, but maybe it is. We're open-minded to that too. But for 2025, starting in bulk, which is February, right? February the 4th. You're starting. You're going beyond the plants, because you looked at 12 plants, and this is really exciting. And if you want to journey with Juliette through the year, I know a lot of the spaces have already gone. People who did the last one, they want to join in, but anyone can apply to do this. You're looking at, and I think this is To be honest, I want to do it. I'll probably be looking after the kids. I won't be able to. But honestly, get this, right? It's rather than 12 plants, it's going to be 6 animals, it's going to be 6 trees, it's going to be 6 crystals, and it's going to be 6 plants. And it's going to be looking at these physical benefits of working with these things, emotional, mental, spiritual benefits. So it's basically what you're giving people is twice what you've done this year. And I think, to be honest, you can do that because you've grown. I think because you can hold more wisdom, because you can, I don't like the word channel, but you can direct.
Tune in and pass it on.
Tune in and pass it on, and you can. And I think you can, to be honest, I think you can do this in a way that no one else can.
Thank you.
I think there are people out there. I mean, one of our mentors, one of our heroes, David Avocado Wolf, who of course wrote the foreword for your new book. I mean, 7 Magical Mushrooms coming out mid-December. I mean, you know, so we love Avocado. He's a hero to us. And if you wanted to talk about, you know, like nutrition, I mean, superfoods. He's like the number 1 expert in the world. I mean, on superfoods, maybe you're the number 2 expert. I don't know, but let's just say, you know, he's there. But when you look at all of these things together, I mean, you trained as a crystal healer like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, like, so you've done deep study on it. It's not like I just like learning. I like, you know, the animals you've got such a connection to, just a spiritual connection to within your own journey, your soul journey, not just your own journey in this life. The trees, you love trees. I mean, we plant so many trees. The stories you've had with some of these trees. So look, I just want to run through some of it. We don't have the time to go into all of it now, but I just wanted to give people a little taste. Otherwise, this show's going to be a 2-hour show. But let's just talk about some of these things, right? So, for example, animals, right? I just want to talk about one of the animals that you're going to be doing, and then you can go into it. And there's lots of different ones. I want to talk about lion. You're going to be looking at this one around summer solstice.
Yep.
I mean, Sekhmet, tell me, you know what I mean? It's like, this is deep. Like it's the king, right? The lion's the king.
So I trained in Sekhem, which is an ancient Egyptian form of healing, 27 years ago, and I did my master teachers.
She doesn't look that old, does she? Kind of sound us. Those of you watching on YouTube, what a woman.
I did my master teachers 20 years ago now, long time ago. And when we went to Egypt on our honeymoon, it was quite something. So we're looking at this map, and Giles like, where do you really want to go? Where do you want to go? And I said, I don't know, I'm really drawn to this place. And it was this kind of more obscure temple. And I didn't know why. It didn't say in the description that it was a temple to Sekhmet. Anyway, we show up and there's Sekhmet right there.
Sekhmet is like a lioness.
Lioness,
She's like a lioness goddess, isn't she? She's like a lion goddess.
And she's very much the holder of the Sekhem energy. So, you know, this thing that I'd trained in and then guided to the lion goddess, to her temple, by chance, you know, if it is by chance, but I was pulled. There was that deeper pulling towards it, and that was really quite a profound thing for me. And we got married on the 8th, well, our first wedding, we had 2 weddings, was on the 8th of August, and that's the Lion's Gate. So this is an incredible portal which connects us into the Sirius system. And interestingly enough, Sekhem is linked to the Sirius system, and the Sirius system are these twin stars that have the strongest healing rays coming down onto this planet. So, you know, there are all these connections once you start looking into them. You know, the lion embodies such strength and power. And interestingly enough, one of the mushrooms in my book, 7 Magical Mushrooms, is lion's mane, one of my favourite mushrooms, one that is very much coming into the forefront. And it's linked to the white lion. And they said that when you found lion's mane, you were receiving the blessings of the white lion. So you have so many links, there's so much interconnectedness, and the lion is such an ancient symbol of this strength, this prowess, of that fierce independence as well.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So we can't go, like I say, we can't go into all of this, but there's other brilliant animals, and if you want to, JulietteBryant.com, I made a beautiful
it's stunning.
mandala of these different animals you're going to be looking in. Owl, hare, deer, of course, because they were the initiatory animals for you, but incredible animals. The lion, the bear, of course, we used to have bears here in England. And the frog, I love it that you're including the frog. That's just the most musical creature is the frog. It's just so deep.
I used to be called Kermit the Frog when I was a
Well, there we
teenager.
go.
So.
Well, I don't know why. So we're going to look into trees, Juliette. Trees. If you can if you can do anything, plant a fruit tree. And they say, what's the best time to plant a fruit tree? The answer is 20 years ago. What's the second best time to plant a fruit tree? Today. Okay? Plant the fruit trees. Let's talk about... Excuse me. Let's talk about one tree you're going to be looking at. And this comes around... This is going to be like very early spring, I think. You're going to start exploring this. Early spring, like that. When the winter's coming out and the spring comes in, that's magical, isn't it? The birch tree, Juliette.
I mean, the birch is amazing. Again, the links to the mushrooms, we explore the chaga mushroom in the book 7 Magical Mushrooms, which goes into some of the benefits of the birch. But the birch is such an incredible feminine presence, such a strong, amazing tree. In fact, we had a lovely story recently. We were on a mission to find fly agaric mushroom. And we really wanted to find it for the book and have that deeper connection. So we were on this mission, and there was this incredible birch tree.
It was the biggest birch tree in the forest.
It was amazing.
It was like the queen, because they say the birch is the lady of the forest, and it gives so much to us in so many ways, doesn't it? With the bark and with the sap and with the wood. It's just, it gives a lot, and then the chaga grows on it and the other mushrooms grow around it. So it was the king birch, and we were guided, the queen birch.
And so we were guided to it, and Giles said, it'd be brilliant to get a photo of you naked behind this tree. So
here we go, kind of sound. Hold on a minute.
So in the middle of
this... I didn't think you were telling this story, Juliette. What happened next? Honestly, we just got to blank out a bit and then go...
Okay. Anyway, this tree led us. There was a bit of a deep initiation that happened with this tree, and then it led us straight to these fly agaric mushrooms. So it was amazing. It was a very profound moment. But the birch has the sap which comes up in the spring, which is incredible for detoxifying the body. The birch tree contains this betulinic acid, which has been shown to fight cancer cells. We've got so much medicine within the birch, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Yeah, and there's that vibrational energy, isn't it? It's like you don't have to consume it, even if you just think about it, or you just put your hands and there's that type of that birch, the silver birch, and in the moon. Beautiful. I mean, it's just
magical, isn't it?
It's just incredible the power and wisdom and healing potential of these things is incredibly untapped by people. I mean, honestly, it's so vast, it's so profound, and the more you get into it, the more you get into it. So the other trees, Juliette, you're going to be looking at.
So we're looking at cacao,
cacao, of course. Cacao is a tree. People often think it's the chocolate, but it's the beans that actually grow on a tree. Of course, you'll be seeing in India. So we've got the cacao, we've got yew, which is the winter solstice tree, and oak, which is the summer solstice tree. Apple, which is celebrate around the time of autumn equinox, when those fruits are ripe. And hawthorn, of course, is the celebration tree of May Day, isn't it? So, I mean, just even if you just did the whole program just based on those 6 trees, it would be incredible.
It would.
Let's move on then to herbs. Herbs. This is the kind of exploring the plant realm, isn't it?
Yeah.
As you've done, but specifically, you wanted to tie it down to more of this herbal lore.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick one, Juliette, and you can talk about it. I'm going to say lemon balm.
So lemon balm is, I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. The smell of it, first of all, is
Oh.
incredible. Such an awakener. You know, if you've got it growing and you just put your hands like that and smell it, it enlivens your whole being. It
Yeah,
lifts you into such
does.
an incredible state. Keeps mosquitoes away and bugs away. So you have this incredible insect repellent property to it. But lemon balm is renowned for its ability to support our mental health, which is key. So many people now struggling with mental health issues, and lemon balm is amazing for anxiety, for depression. So having fresh lemon balm in tea or just putting it into water to infuse, such an easy way to use it. It's antiviral, it's antibacterial, so you have so many physical properties. But on that spiritual side, emotional side, it has that lifting, the ability to lift the spirits, which is so beautiful.
Wonderful. Okay, so some of the other herbs you're going to be looking at, and the other thing as well that's amazing about this journey you're taking people on is it's like your book Superfoods and How to Use Them. It's like this is the information about it, but this is how you can work with it.
Yeah.
This is how you can connect to it. This is how you can connect to the plant spirit medicine and utilize this incredible like complexity of micronutrients that these plants provide us with, blessed by God and the earth power. Mullein is
An important one for
fascinating
people now, you know, mullein.
with the old coughs.
With the coughs, mullein is
Well,
incredible.
I'll tell you a few more important for the old coughs. We've got thyme you're going to be looking at, motherwort, lavender, and chamomile. So some incredible allies there that you're going to really get to know. And I mean, I'm excited by it, to be honest. Just reading those things is giving me a buzz. I'm just gonna because we've got all these things growing.
Yeah.
We plant them. We love. You know, the monks in the modern times. They were the people who grew the medicine. They were where the hospitals grew out of. They had the knowledge of these plants. There was no farmer back then. You had the plant knowledge, and maybe bring it back. And then the crystals. So we mentioned, Juliette, you're a qualified crystal healer. You spent a long time studying it. And you might see kind of sound as those of you that are watching. We like crystals, the sacred crystals. So I'm going to pick one here, Juliette. Mm-hmm. One of the crystals, one of the 6, and you can tell the kind of sounds a bit about it. I'm going to pick emerald.
Ooh. So emerald's very much about the heart. The green stones are about connecting into the heart. The green, more than the pink, are about opening our heart to really receive. A lot of us give love, but we don't receive love. And that's so important that we have that channel running. So emerald is a great way to help open us up to receiving that love. But also emerald has a much deeper wisdom as well. There's a deep connection to the ancestors when we look at emerald. And we're also looking at this ancient wisdom. So like what we're learning on the earth wisdom, we've got to reconnect into this ancient wisdom that is in the earth, that's buried there. And very interestingly, years and years ago, I kept having this meditation about this massive big green crystal in the center of the earth. Now, I don't know if it was an emerald, it possibly was, but this green crystal, and this crystal kept saying to me, it was pulsing out this energy. And what I realized was, all these crystals underground, they're there for a reason. They're there because they're helping support the planet. They're helping to purify negative energies. They're helping to keep everything in flow. They're just as important as the trees and everything in their correct place. But this crystal said to me, there is a new way of working coming through, and it's not here yet. Most people don't know how to work with them, but we are bringing through a new way of working. And I think the more we can tune into these crystals, when I was pregnant with my oldest boy, when I was studying crystal healing, I suddenly had an aversion to crystals. I couldn't be around them. And it was
powerful.
It was really tricky
very
because
powerful.
Suddenly I literally couldn't have them around. And what they taught me in that is that you don't need to be wearing them. At the time, I'd wear like 6 different crystal necklaces. I had like 20 different crystal bracelets. I was covered in crystals because I loved how they worked. I loved their properties. It was mind-blowing to me. And what they taught me was that you don't have to wear them to have that connection. You can call on them, so you can tune into them. And this is what this earth wisdom is. This is what the plant wisdom is. This is the work that I'm doing, really, is guiding people to understand and form these deep relationships with the plants, with the trees, with the mushrooms, with the animals, with the crystals, with all of these things, so that we can start realizing everything is just frequency. So if we need to work with rose quartz, we can feel that rose quartz in our hearts. If we want to work with emerald, we can feel it there. We can tune into the emeralds in the earth and allow that to come up through us.
Yeah, that's profound, and we must remember that we live in the crystal age. Some call it the information age, but what is that information stored on? It's stored on silicon quartz. This is what it's all about in your phone, in your computer, in the old wristwatch. It's quartz. This is what it's all about. So if you've got if that tiny little thing there can hold all that information, then it makes you think, doesn't it, about the power of these crystals. And Juliette's going to be a wonderful guide. Emerald, as well as clear quartz. It'd have to be clear quartz, wouldn't it, really, the master crystal. Tiger's eye, citrine, labradorite, which is an incredible
bluey, greeny, yellow,
far out, like mystical thing, and amethyst, a great healer and calmer for the mind as well. So I think it's going to be great. It starts February. It's running February 2025 to February 2026. And if you're interested, just have a look, JulietteBryant.com. Click on the poster there. Have a look at some of the graphics and anything. And if you want to do it, I think you just arrange a call with you. Is that? Yeah. I mean, not when Juliette's in India. Probably you've probably got to wait now. When are you back? Is it the 5th? Is it?
Yeah.
5th of December. So
but you can send me a message and we can communicate before that. That's absolutely fine if you're interested.
Of course.
And also, one of the things that I feel is really important when it comes to the work that I'm doing is that it's accessible for people as much as possible. And so there is a tiered payment scheme. So regardless of your income, we can make something work if you feel called and a real passion to do this. So do message me and we can chat more about that.
It's a beautiful thing, Juliette. Beautiful thing. Well, I tell you what will be a lovely way to finish. Is just to lead the kind of sounders on a little meditation. So maybe don't do this if you're driving. Pull over.
Or
for a minute.
Pause and listen to the recording later.
Possibly, yeah. But should we just finish with a little meditation, Juliette? That'd be nice.
So just take a moment to connect in with your breath. Feeling your body, bringing your awareness into this moment. And on your next breath, I invite you to breathe from the center of the earth all the way up, breathing up the energy of the earth through your body, all the way up through the top of your head, up into the cosmos. Feeling that energy of the cosmos mingling with the energy of the earth. And as you exhale, bringing that cosmic energy down through your body into the earth. Breathing up the energy of the earth again, feeling that grounded stability, feeling that nourishment, filling your whole body as it moves up into the cosmos. And in the cosmos, feeling the dance of intuition, divine wisdom and knowledge, and then breathing out and bringing that cosmic knowledge down through your body into the earth. And then allowing your breath to return to normal and just becoming aware of the earth around you. You may be inside, but just becoming aware of the surroundings outside. Becoming aware of any trees around you, any plants in your vicinity. Maybe you can hear some birds singing. Just allowing your mind to explore your surroundings. Or maybe you want to take your mind to when you went on a beautiful walk in nature. Feeling the breath the fresh air moving through your body. Feeling your feet walking on the earth. Feeling the sun shining down on you. Becoming aware of your body interacting with all of the elements and all of nature. And in this space of connection with the earth, I invite you to take a moment to think about what you're grateful for. What are you grateful for about the earth? And just feeling that gratitude for the earth moving through every cell in your body. Feeling your whole body expanding in that gratitude, in that love of the earth and all that the earth does for you. And as you feel that, just send that into the earth. Send that gratitude and that love. Thank you, Mother Earth, for holding us. Thank you for providing us food and nourishment. Thank you for providing us shelter. Thank you for providing us medicines. Thank you for holding us in your beautiful, unconditional love always. We thank you. We love you. And just being in that love for a moment. And slowly bringing your awareness back to your body, to your fingers and your toes, but holding that love, holding that connection that is always there.
Very beautiful. Thank you, Juliette. Wonderful wisdom. JulietteBryant.com if you want to know more. And for those of you listening to this on the podcast, you now have a treat because we're going to finish with a bit of music. We're not including the music in the YouTube videos. Just go over to follow the links and you can hear this on the podcast. And this is a song by the Perpetual Choir, sung by the very beautiful Juliette Bryant. This is called Nature's Beauty. You've been listening to the Transformative Health Show with Juliette Bryant on KindaSound. Juliette, final thoughts from you, please?
Whatever you do, just hold that love, that appreciation, that gratitude for the earth. And when you can, get out in it. Get out and be in it, even if it's for a few minutes. Get out and see the trees, see the sunlight. And next time you see an animal that grabs your attention or a bird, just take a moment to pause and acknowledge it.
Wonderful. Well, this is Nature's Beauty, KindaSound.